I can do it all, I will never fall.
What's up, y'all? I'm not even in the mood for the intro today, if I'm being honest. Yeah, man. So the Jets fall to 0-4. They lose against a Miami Dolphins team that right now has so many issues that it just goes to show you just how bad we are. I was saying earlier in the season, after we saw Game 2 and then of course Game 3, that fluke against the Steelers might have just been that it was a fluke. That the Steelers are just that bad of a team that we were able to go ahead and kind of hang in there and be a part of that game and be excited about it, because what we've seen since then has just been a culmination of, honestly, man, just the same old stuff we've seen for years now. I don't know what we do. I don't know what we do from at this point, man. I don't. Shout out, man. What's up, Bill? Appreciate you, man. It's nothing but love, man, for you guys that keep doing this, keep jumping on this channel, keep watching Jets content. Y'all, again, the New York Jets do not deserve this fan base. They truly do not. And yet, somehow, some way, we ride or die for this team, even though they continuously find ways to crush our spirits and to crush our souls. We ride and die for this team. It's beyond me. I get it, man. Jet up. And let's go. At the end of the day, it's the fandom is for the organization, right? Some of us were born into this. Some of us made this choice, you know what I'm saying, very early on in life. I don't see that changing. I think the majority of us are just going to have to endure the suffering. Jets, Jets stands for just end the suffering, but we might just have to Jets need to endure the suffering, because just endure it. Because at some point, I just have to believe that it starts to look better, that it starts to get better. This game was a tough one. The Miami Dolphins aren't a good team right now. They're not, right? This is going to be a team that probably finishes with maybe 4 to 5 wins, a top 10 pick. They'll have to make a very tough decision on whether or not they're going to keep Tua. That front office is on the hot seat. The coaching staff's on the hot seat. But you watch that game on Sunday, man, and we made them look like they were the best team in the NFL. Like they're like they were Super Bowl favorites for the AFC or something. Somehow we were able to play so bad, to play our brand of football, which is putrid, that the Miami Dolphins look like, man, this might just be a playoff team. I know they're feeling pretty good about themselves. I wouldn't. You just beat a really bad football team, which has been the MO of the Miami Dolphins. You can beat bad teams. You can't beat average to good teams. But it just showed us just how bad this team was, because when you look at the statistics, this is frustrating. What's up, Bill? Jet up, dog. I'm with you, man. I'm hoping that we can go ahead and maintain the energy for the season. Vero Beach, Jets, and here we go, brother. Yeah, now you're right. Here we go. I'm going to change my intro. I think I'm going to change my intro since this intro's kicked off. I feel like the mojo of the Jets has been off. I'm not saying it's 100% on me, but this intro's got to go. I'm going to go ahead and change that up a little bit. The most frustrating part is I had a good weekend this weekend. Like, this is how much, being a Jets fan is just pure misery, because I had a great weekend this weekend. I was able to go ahead and go on a siblings cruise with my sisters and brothers. Had a good time. Had a good time from Friday to Monday. And my brothers, part of my family is Miami Dolphins fans. The other are Tampa Bay fans. And on back-to-back weeks, my siblings can sit there and kind of LOL at me because they got dubs on the Jets. But, I was talking to my brother, man, and he wasn't sure that they were going to win. He felt like he didn't feel confident. He didn't feel confident. And I felt confident that his team would win. So it was back and forth, us talking about which team was worse, just for us to play that game out on Monday night. And it was never close, man. So now, both my brothers can go ahead and get their LOLs, get their laugh out louds out there, because Both of them beat the Jets. Jets are 0-4. We're one of 3 teams that are 0-4. I'm actually going to that New Orleans Saints versus Jets game, Jets versus Saints game. And I'm pretty positive the Jets are probably going to be 0 and whatever it is at that point. And it might be the Saints that are also 0 and whatever it is at that point. I think this is going to be the battle of the first overall pick. Saints versus Jets. Jets versus Saints. That's demoralizing. It's demoralizing because I think as fans, right, I initially came into this week or this season, and I really believed this Jets team was going to win anywhere from 5 to 7 games. I wasn't expecting much. I wasn't expecting this team to go ahead and be, playoff bound. You hope for it, but realistically, I was just like, all right, we've got some work to do. This is going to be a 7-win team. Okay. Then I do the preview, right? We did the live preview of what the Jets can look like. And somehow I convinced myself, man, because of all the training camp videos and of all the talk from Aaron Glenn and how we look at how this team was able to win games with Zach Wilson and an assortment of quarterbacks that were nobodies. And I felt we never had any advantage in the coaching realm, that even if this coaching staff was average, that maybe this talent on this team can actually achieve something, respectable. Maybe we can get to that 10-win mark. Like a dumbass, I really started to believe that stuff. And then I went through the whole thing with you guys. I'm looking at teams, and I'm talking about, like, oh, man, this team, we should be able to get the dub here. We got more talent. This team. I'm over here LOLing at other teams when it's us. It's us. The New York Jets are the LOL team. Like, they're the get-right team. They're the team that other fan bases and then other teams look at and think, all right, we've had a rough go, but this is our get-right game. We're that team. We are that team because I would say it's the same old Jets, but if we're being honest, it's looked worse. It's looked significantly worse than what we've seen in times past, and I don't know how that's possible. I really don't know how this New York Jets team can look worse than they have the last couple of years, and yet somehow, some way, they've blessed us with this experience. They've provided us with this experience, and it's in every facet of the game. Every facet of the game. At some point you look at this team and you're thinking to yourself, can it be fixed? Can it be fixed? Is there a coach or a quarterback or a God that can help this team achieve great? And I mean, I believe, of course, if Jesus Christ was the coach or God decided to put his hands and bless his team, we'd see some wonderful things. I'm not going to be blasphemous on the show here. I'm just saying it's just looked that bad that it's been very discouraging that this team continues to just look worse and worse and worse and worse. And there's no end of it in sight. No end to it in sight. So we're going to talk about this game. This hangout today is just a therapy session. We got to get it all out because the Cowboys are coming, and I'm telling you, I feel our cheeks getting clapped by the Cowboys on Sunday. I think it's going to be an embarrassing game, but that preview is for another day. Let's talk about how embarrassing this was. Vero Beach, what's up? Nothing new. My friend Glenn is bringing in a witch doctor tomorrow. He needs to do something. A witch doctor. He needs to pray to God, man. He needs to go ahead and ask God for help because this team needs it. This team needs it because at this point, I don't know if there's a human factor that can go ahead and change this team. It's going to require a divine intervention for this team to be relevant or even be just respectable. And that's where I'm at now. I'm at that point now where I look at this team. I don't see hope anymore, right? And no, I'm not on the bandwagon of fire Glenn, fire everybody. It's 4 games. Now, granted, in those 4 games, we've seen some putrid football. We've seen football that appears to be significantly worse than what we've seen over the last couple of years. But it's still 4 games with a new regime, with a team that, if we're being honest with ourselves, is just not that talented. That was the point where I thought we were just, our talent was like we were hot. What was it? Not we didn't have enough depth, but I don't even know if we have any high-end talent really. Like you go up against the Dolphins team that has a makeshift offensive line. They've been having struggles all year with the offensive line. They don't have Austin Jackson. You get 0 sacks on Tua. 0 sacks. And some people are saying, well, he gets the ball out fast. No, he didn't. He wasn't getting the ball out fast this game. Like there was times he was just chilling in the pocket, waiting for the play to develop, and then getting the ball to the right player. We made him look like he was freaking Dan Marino light in this game. We got no pressure. Will McDonald couldn't get to him. Q couldn't get to him. The Q and because the rest of those guys to me just they don't show up on a weekly basis, but we know Q and Will usually do. They couldn't get to him, man, against a makeshift O line that didn't have some of the top tier starters. Our secondary, abomination, straight abomination. I don't know. At this point, I'm looking at how bad we play on defense, and I'm starting to wonder if Steve Wilks is in on this. Like is he a terrorist implemented into the Jets organization that's doing this on purpose? Every time, and it's not just me because a lot of y'all were watching the same game I was, and I've seen a lot of individuals jump on social media and talk about this. I don't understand how it seemed at every turn, every time they oppositions hiked the ball, there were players running wide open against this Jets defense. I'm talking about without a care in the world, just strolling right in the middle of the defense. Nobody's on them. Nobody's aware of their presence. And easy freaking little freaking 5-yard passes from Tua to wide open guys in the middle of the field. It was an embarrassment to watch this team attempt to play defense. I guess we could try whatever we can to clear this curse, man, but I just don't know if it's going to matter. Again, shout out to Vero Beach, man. Shout out to Bill. What's up, Miguel, man? Appreciate you, brother, for being here, reporting for duty. Rich, what's good, brother? We got to get on the show together soon, man. I know we've been dealing with some scheduling stuff, but if you still want to do it on Friday, I got time Friday. It's just me here at the crib with the kids, so I'll have some time on Friday, especially if you want to do it in the morning, which works best for me, but we'll talk offline. But appreciate you, man, for jumping on. We got Vero, Miguel. Okay, cool. So I think what it boils down to is this, right? I think what it boils down to is that this team is just not that good, and we're 4 games in now. We need help at edge. We need help at quarterback. We don't have a wide receiver too. We don't have a safety that can play football. Our linebackers appear to be more of a figment of our imagination, as if those guys were kind of made who they are by the hands of Saleh. In fact, the more and more I look at this defensive unit, like Michael Carter, I don't know what happened to him, but he's no longer this top-tier slot corner that we thought we had. The dude looks lost on most plays. Like, he got hurt in the game yesterday, and that sucks for that he got hurt, but nothing changed. There were no specific impacts to the game whatsoever. The guy just seems like what we thought he was was fairy dust, a figment of our imaginations of what he used to be. And I'm starting to wonder, maybe Saleh knew this all along. Maybe he knew the weaknesses of the players he had on this roster. Maybe he knew Sauce isn't somebody you can go ahead and have travel, that there was limitations there. Maybe he knew, I'm sorry, Sauce, Ahmad Gardner. His name is Ahmad. His mama called him Ahmad. I'm going to call him Ahmad. I don't think you get a cool nickname until you start doing cool stuff at the NFL level. So his name is Ahmad Gardner to me until further notice. But I feel like Saleh's system, which is why they were so stubborn from going away from it, may have hid a lot of these flaws and elevated some of these guys' individual strengths to make us believe we had some dogs that played football. The best player on this team, without question, is Garrett Wilson. He's the best player on this team. Garrett Wilson is the only guy that I feel like shows up week in and week out. He handles not just the media well, but the chaos that is this organization. He literally straps his boots on and goes to work every week. Every week. Now, he's going to frustrate us sometimes because he like the Tampa game, come back to that freaking interception. I get that. He's still getting there, right? But he's a top-tier wide receiver in this league. Garrett Wilson's a dog, man. I mean, bullshit call on him for the offensive pass interference. That was ridiculous. That was a beautiful catch. And we're talking about it being maybe the catch of the year so far, had it stood. It's weird, though. It's funny because it's odd that they first called it an incomplete pass. Then when they realized, like, oh, no, that's complete. Oh, flag, offensive pass interference. The NFL officiating in this game was absolutely putrid as well. Now, I could talk about how bad it was, but in all actuality, I feel like the Jets did more damage to themselves that how bad they were how bad the officiating was really wouldn't have changed anything to me. Somebody said like, "Oh my God, like imagine if he caught that touchdown, then the Jets would have been up on the game if you count." That's us trying to pretend like it would have went the way it went, as if the Dolphins would have become more aggressive offensively to make sure they kept pressure on us that couldn't stop a nosebleed. I don't think we win that game in any scenario. I don't think the Jets came in there prepared. For a team that did live tackling drills in the summer, for a coach that told us how he was coming in here to change the culture and that he understood what he had to do for us to go ahead and kill these penalties, for us to go ahead and tackle better, because we led the league, I think, in missed tackles last year. We were top of the league in terms of penalties. The Jets are doing all of that again this year. Aaron Glenn told us he brought referees into training camp so we can eliminate these issues. He told us they were doing live physical drills because he wanted the players to actually hit in training camp, because no one else is doing that in the NFL anymore. And it's going to make a massive difference in regards to how this team operates. I have not seen the difference. In fact, other teams seem to actually know how to tackle, and somehow, somewhere, we've gotten worse at tackling. So explain to me how you're telling us how you were doing all these great things has not backfired up until the 4 games in. And this team does nothing well. Nothing well. Some people are going to say, well, in terms of rushing, it's pretty good. Okay, cool. You're talking about a lot of rushing. Well, I wouldn't say garbage time, because yesterday the Jets rushing attack looked beautiful. It did. The first drive, a beautiful drive, just punching the Dolphins in the face over and over. And you know how awesome it is to watch that game yesterday after we were able to hold them to a field goal. And for our running attack, that they knew we were going to do it. The Jets weren't trying to hide it or be fancy. They were going to run this ball down your throat. And they had no answer. The Dolphins had no answer. The Jets ran that ball at will. They were offensively, the Jets ran the ball at will. There was nothing the defense could do. They got out physical. They were outmatched. I mean, honestly, the craziest part about this is if you look at the stat lines for this game, Jets had more passing yards. They were more efficient with passing the ball. They had more rushing yards by a mile. They had more first downs. They had more plays. Time of possession went in favor of the Jets. And Jets lose the game. Like every offensive category you can think of, the Jets led the way, except for scoring, obviously. Except for touchdowns, except for putting points on the board. But in every other category, they led the way. The difference maker between the Dolphins and us is the fact that we gave the Dolphins 3 turnovers. We gave them 3 turnovers. We haven't turned the ball over once. We haven't gotten a turnover once as a defense. I think we're the only team in the NFL right now that hasn't produced a turnover this year, which is insane to me. We paid Sauce Gardner all that freaking money, and the dude doesn't even know how to spell interception. There were some people that weren't keen on giving Sauce Gardner that money. I remember seeing individuals actually get upset about the idea of giving Sauce Gardner that much money. And I was split on it, right? He's a foundation piece to this roster. He's homegrown talent. He's a 2-time All-Pro. So giving Ahmad the money made sense, right? In terms of, at the very least, setting the tone that we take care of our own. Made him the highest paid corner in the league. Fine. Cool. Sauce needs to keep freaking the corpse of Darren Waller out of the end zone in that game. Like, how do you allow that dude to jump up into the back of the end zone and you're not physical enough to just carry him or push him hard enough out of bounds so that way he doesn't put 2 feet down? The lack of physicality in that play to me was mind-boggling. Darren Waller was doing SoundCloud raps or something last year. I've seen individual Dolphins fans posting his rap songs from last year. They're horrible. Absolutely trash. Like, the dude was retired. He was trying to go ahead and pursue a non-existent music career. Dude hasn't played all season. This is his first game of the year. And he looked like Tony Gonzalez out there. 2 touchdowns. Didn't have an answer for him. I mean, just bullied Sauce Gardner, mossed him in the back of the end zone. but he's the highest paid corner in the league. For what? He's not the most physical corner. He's not going to go ahead and create turnovers for you. Yeah, he's done some nice things with pass breakups, but he doesn't turn the ball over, man. Like, and you watch that game on Sunday. Do you think Sauce Gardner mattered? Do you think having the highest paid corner in the league mattered in that game? Receivers were running open. Everybody was. Whether it was Tyreek Hill, Waddle, like it didn't matter. I don't know why you pay this man if he's not going to be able to show up on Sundays and go to work, or Mondays and go to work. That's the name of the game, right? You pay this dude so we can actually put in the work, and we haven't really seen it. I'm not seeing my $30 million a year. I don't know about y'all, but for $30 million a year, I don't think we're getting a return on our investment. We're not. Right? Like, you're supposed to be an elite corner. Elite. You're not shutting down a side of the field. Like, that's not happening. You can't do that. You're not Revis in that capacity. You don't turn the ball over. You don't impact the run game. Like, you do a bunch of things good, I guess, right? But there's nothing elite about what he's got. Elite size, but it hasn't benefited us in terms of being really an impact corner. I don't know, man. I'm getting on this tangent now because I like Ahmad Gardner. I do. I think he's physically gifted. I like his confidence. I love his swagger. But on Sundays and on Mondays, the persona he's built up for himself doesn't seem to match the performance, and it's infuriating. We just gave the man $30 million a year, $30 million, whatever the heck it was. Braylon Allen, he's young, man, young kid. I gotta ask this: why was Braylon Allen returning kickoffs? You're a team that depends on the run game heavily for your offense, and your second running back, which is a key cog to your offensive game plan, is returning kick. Why are we doing that? Why is your bruising back returning freaking kickoffs? For what purpose? To get hurt like he did. Get hurt, now sprained MCL, out for who knows how freaking long. The coaching decisions made in this game didn't make sense to me. Offensively, you got a Dolphins defense that's been getting diced and slashed in the secondary. Every team's throwing on them. Every team's throwing them at will at a successful clip, high successful clip. I get the run game was to establish physicality and what we could do, but I think in the first half, freaking Justin Fields had 4-6 throws. What are we doing? Do we not trust Justin Fields to throw the ball? At this point, I have to wonder, do they not trust him to throw the ball? I think that's the case. I don't know if you're in that game knowing that a weak component of this team is their ability to stop receivers, and we don't attack their secondary more. I mean, I guess a positive is Mason Taylor. We all love that pick. He showed up. We're still waiting for Arian Smith to figure it out. Josh Reynolds, I mean, my goodness, why are you on the team? Allen Lazard costing us penalties and then getting, I think, 8 yards? So literally, of all the receivers outside of Garrett Wilson, you got 8 yards of production outside of Garrett Wilson in that receiving room. Between Josh Reynolds, Arian Smith, Allen Lazard, 8 freaking yards. The frustrating part about it is we called this a while back as Jets fans. We stated that, a wide receiver 2 is a key component here. We're not talking about we need to get a 1A or 1B like you see with freaking, the Bengals or the Eagles, but you need a competent wide receiver 2 in the building. And we convinced ourselves to trust in Aaron Glenn and Muji, and that maybe Arian Smith was the guy because he had a really good training camp. Hey, Josh Reynolds, man, he's a seasoned vet. You know what I'm saying? He's producing this league. Maybe Allen Lazard can, get us to that 500 yards, mark as a wide receiver 3 or 4. You're not asking for too much. It's not too bad. We played ourselves, man. Garrett Wilson is out there on an island by himself, man. It's him. It's Brees. and it looks like Mason Taylor is coming along. We have a long ways to go. We have a long ways to go. I thought maybe a year away next year, maybe 2 years max, and this team could start, being in the conversation. Maybe being in the conversation for a run at the AFC East. Man, comical. At this point, the Bills obviously are unbothered by any other team in the AFC East. It's their division. The Jets, Patriots, Dolphins, we're not even in the same stratosphere as those guys. So they've got a nice little easy streak to the playoffs. And then you're looking at the Patriots with Vrabel showing competent coaching. You're seeing a bit of a turnaround from what we thought was a talentless freaking roster, but they're competently coached. They got their guy in Drake May. They're 2-2, I think it is right now, and just they're probably going to be second in the AFC East come season's end. Then the Miami Dolphins, I think you're going to have to either make a decision here. I think this is going to be the year where they make it through the playoffs and win a game, or they're starting over. Tyreek Hill got a gruesome injury, man. Hey, prayers up to him. I hate seeing that. I don't like when players get hurt. It actually is demoralizing. The game is more fun when the league's best players are on the field. Seeing Tyreek Hill, man, do that was gruesome. But to be fair, he seems up in spirits. Apparently, he had a surgery today, man. Full torn MCL, ACL, every ligament in his knee was shredded. But he's in high spirits and he's going through surgery. And I think he's probably in good spirits because I think his last 2 years of his contract gets fully guaranteed because of the injury now. Because there's no way he's coming back next year either. The level of brutality that injury was, man, prayers to him, man. I hope he gets better. I don't think he's gonna ever be a Dolphin again. I think this is it. He'll wind up going somewhere else. So then you're talking about you lose your best offensive player in Tyreek Hill. Tua is Tua. Yeah, at best you're talking about an average quarterback, but he's probably going to be one of those high-end backups in the league when it's all said and done. I think you fire GM and you fire the coach, right? And that means they get an opportunity to actually bring in somebody new, maybe somebody more competent. Some of the things that I've heard, on social media today was, imagine our luck if freaking the Dolphins fire, McDaniel, and they clean house to start over again, and they bring in John Gruden. The Jets will be in a division with Vrabel and Gruden taking up 2 teams that have been in the dumpster fire, such as ourselves, but now have competent coaches at the helm. I say that because I don't know now if we have the guy. I don't know if Aaron Glenn's the guy. I don't. I think I blindly went into this season looking at his resume, looking at the pedigree of man that he is. He's coming from a program that resembled the Jets when he got there and was able to turn it around. But at least you saw those early Detroit Lions teams and you saw grit. Like Dan Campbell wanted to see, you saw grit, you saw toughness, you saw a willingness to want to go ahead and get better. We have not seen that from this Jets team. But in my mind, I convinced myself that, you know what, this Aaron Glenn hiring was the move. Listen, Vrabel was obviously high on some people's lists. Ben Johnson was high on some people's list, on my list as well. I'll admit that. But so was AG. AG was on that list as well. And, you're looking at Vrabel. They seem to be having things figured out. Looking at Chicago, they seem to have things figured out right now. 2-2 in their division. They looked really good the last couple of weeks in terms of offensive gameplay. And then there's us, the team that just can't get right. The Jets that just are the same old Jets. I don't know how to feel about where this team is going because I no longer know if we've got the guy. And if the Miami Dolphins wind up getting Gruden, if they let go of McDaniel, we already have Vrabel to deal with, and the Bills are the Bills. They're going to just keep doing Bills things until Josh Allen retires. we might be in purgatory for the next decade. There's a world where us as Jets fans can be in purgatory for another decade. And that to me just doesn't seem fair. I feel like 15 years has been long enough. I don't know what we did, man, to deserve this as a fan base. I don't know whose feelings we hurt. Refs don't like us. Goodell doesn't like us. Hell, I don't even know if the Jets franchise, the owners, I don't know if Woody likes us. You know what I'm saying? I have no idea. But somehow, some way, we are a punished and a tormented fan base. And I can see it now that would be our story, that Gruden winds up taking the Dolphins job. He gets to pick his own quarterback, starts the building process, and of course, in year one, you'll see progress because Gruden's a proven commodity. And then we'll be going into year two with, a new quarterback next year, a bunch of pieces needed, and a prayer, hoping that by the end of this year, Glenn shows us something. I think I get frustrated with Glenn because he put this on himself. When he came out here, he made it a point to talk about the same old Jets and how this team was not going to be the same old Jets, that he was going to come in here and change that. I've watched many of freaking press conferences where he talks about this Jets team from last year and why he wanted to be here because he believes there's talent on this roster and that the stuff that was on tape that he saw was wrong with his team, he could fix. Easy fixes. We can get this right away. It's all about coaching. If you coach, once you start coaching these habits out of them, you just got to give them good coaching. Keep talking about coach this, coach that, coach that. I haven't seen coaching. I've seen an undisciplined team, an unprepared team, a team that looks like, they kind of don't want to be playing football most of the time. And then I have a coach who's giving us all the theatrics of yelling and you hear him screaming, at the team last night. Blah, blah. Bro, this is your product. This is your product. You said this was going to be easy. You said the stuff you saw on tape was fixable, and all they needed was coaching. So I'm putting a lot of this on Glenn. I am, because he made me believe that this was an easy fix. He said this was not going to be a team where we would look at them and think the same old Jets, because he's a coach. He knows how to coach players. He knows how to be blah, blah, coach this and coach that. Well, this team looks worse. This team looks worse than what we saw from Saleh. It looks worse. I mean, it's on point to being worse than what we saw under Adam Gase. At 0-4, Aaron Glenn has the chance to do something that's never been done before in Jets history. That's start a season 0-5. Be the first coach to ever do it. That's the legacy right now Aaron Glenn is building. To be the coach, the first Jets coach ever, to hit a milestone of sorts, a milestone of mediocrity, and start the season off 0-5. And if we're being honest, I think that's more a reality than just figment, right? As Bill says here, we're facing off against Dallas next week, who happens to have the number one offense in the NFL. This team struggled against freaking Tua. Against a statue Rodgers. Well, Josh Allen, so then there's no comparison there. So now you get, and of course, freaking Baker, but he's also a stud. But now you get freaking Dak Prescott, who's not a bad quarterback. He's not a bad quarterback, with no CeeDee Lamb. And I still see this being embarrassing. It's going to be an embarrassing weekend. I appreciate you. I had a great vacation, brother. I did. Like, it was awesome. Hanging out with my brothers and sisters, man. Royal Caribbean, top notch. Again, shout out to Antar for being the travel agent that put that together, man. Good stuff, great stuff. But yeah, great weekend, awesome weekend. Fantasy football did great for me this weekend. And all I wanted the Jets to do was I didn't think they were going to win the game. I really didn't. But I was hoping you were going to make a fight out of it. Couldn't give us that. Couldn't give us a fight. They didn't even, it looked like showing up was too much of an ask, or better yet, they did show up, but they showed up just enough to break our hearts, right? Just enough to shatter our souls as fans, because you looked at that first drive and you thought to yourself, the Dolphins are going to have a bad night. We're going to punch them in the mouth over and over and over again. Boom, fumble. And I don't know about y'all, but the moment that fumble happened, I went from feeling really good about this game to like, we're going to get our teeth kicked in. Because again, this team has not proven to us that they have the ability to bounce back when things go wrong. And that was a demoralizing freaking like fumble. And you also saw freaking Allen on the sideline just moping and feeling bad for himself and being sad. And I'm like, great. Now RB2 is in his head. I swore he was going to fumble the ball again. I was just like, man, I think he's going to fumble again. Because the way he's looking at them right now on the sideline, especially after they scored and a 14-point swing went their way, I could have sworn Brandon Allen was going to go ahead and make us have regrets as well. I really did. I thought that was going to be bad, but he got hurt, unfortunately. But I didn't believe that we were going to be able to bounce back. And then I started to believe again because somehow, some way, we get a field goal on the board. And you got to thank Nick Folk for being Nick Folk. He's, again, probably the second best player on our team after Garrett Wilson. You come back, you get the freaking ball back. There's hope there, man. There's hope there. All we got to do now is get some of that momentum we caught in that first freaking drive and don't fumble the ball. Let's tie this game up, man, and make it 0-0. Game starts all over again in the third quarter. Fumble on the kickoff. Fumble. I don't know why we brought this kid in here to replace Gibson. I don't know who scouted this kid. I don't know who thought he was going to be the answer. Trash. He's been trash since he got into the building. You're here to go ahead and field punts and kickoffs, and you don't know where you're at on the field. You can't hold on to the ball. He's had 2 key fumbles now since becoming the Jets kick returner. And a boneheaded play in terms of fair catching the ball on the 2-yard line. Stuff you learn in Pee-wee football that you shouldn't do. This dude did it in an NFL game where he's getting paid millions of dollars. But this team is so atrocious. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know how to look at this team, evaluate it, and think positively about them, except for the fact that I'm a Jets fan and I'm trying to be as optimistic as possible, even though it's killing me logically to speak about this team in a positive way. It is beyond frustrating to be in this situation again. It really is. I wasn't expecting this team to do much. I don't think our standards right now as Jets fans is high. Just show us competent football. We were just hoping that come November, we were still in that graphic, you know what I'm saying? Saying like, hey, look, we have not been mathematically eliminated from the playoffs yet. We're still in the graphic. I'm not saying we had to make the playoffs, but we're in the graphic. You saw our name. We're 0-4. It's not even October yet, and mock draft season's upon us. Like we're already looking at quarterbacks in next year's draft. Like that's how bad it is. Because I don't know if this team doesn't go 0-17 the way they've played the last few weeks. Honestly, 0-17 is just as probable as winning out. I'm lying. 0-17 is significantly more probable than them winning 2 or 3 more games this season. This team is bad. From top to bottom, they're doing nothing well. They're making the same exact mistakes that they made in week 1. And every time Aaron Glenn gets up there to do a press conference, he says that same shit. We got to go to work. We got to go to work. What I do know is you don't know anything. Stop saying what I do know is. You don't know anything. You haven't shown us that you know anything. At this point now, we just need you to shut up and just show us. Shut up and just show us, man. You keep talking about going to work. Then he said something at yesterday's press conference. I almost punched the TV. These penalties are crazy, but you know what? After looking at the tape, I know what I got to do. I know what I got to do, and I think it's going to go ahead and help alleviate this problem. There's a fix for it. I know what I got to do. No, you don't. You don't have the answer. Stop it. You don't have the answer. You don't. Because this was an issue coming into the season. So whatever little magic freaking cue you think you just figured out, you should have used that, after game 1. Now in week 4, after you just got your ass beat by the freaking Dolphins, who are also going to have a top 5 pick, now all of a sudden, I watched the tape and I got it. I got the fix. I'm going to fix it. You'll see that we're going to go ahead and get rid of these penalties. I think it's going to help us get rid of these penalties. What I do know, every time he says what I do know is, now I'm getting pissed off because I'm realizing I don't believe you. I don't believe you that you know anything. At this point, I came in here on blind faith that you were going to be the guy. I'm hoping that it's just 4 games. I'm mad right now. We're all mad right now, understandably so, and that he does prove us wrong and that he winds up being the guy. But I'm telling you, man, sometimes you just know, and it just seems like the coaching staff they're drowning. Like the stage is too big for them. Like they're just not ready for it. And I get that they're rookies. I get that. But even Salah won a game in his first 4. Even we could look at this a Salah-led team and thought to ourselves, man, our defense is elite, or our defense is going to keep us in game. We could say that. We could look at that and say, you know what? We got to figure some things out, but our defense is going to keep us in games. We were saying that about Salah. You watch this Jets team now. What are you hanging your hat on? What are you hanging your hat on? It's not the offense, not the defense, not the special teams, not the coaching advantage. There's nothing to hold your hat on. We don't do anything good. We don't do anything good. And even if we do something good, we find a way to mess that up. We're good at running the ball. Wait for it. We'll fumble the ball and give it back to the other team. We don't do anything good. This team is, yeah, Rich. No, you're right. I'm going to that Saints game, bro. And at that point, it's going to be the Tank Bowl. But you're right. The food's going to be delicious. I'm making sure I get there. I'm going to get me some Acme Oyster House. They got some amazing charbroiled oysters. And then for breakfast, I'm going to go get me some gumbo. Oh, my gosh. I'm having what's the name of that delicious spot we used to go to? Oh, I'm losing. But no, you're right. I'm going to eat good because that's going to be the highlight of that week, that trip. Is going to be the food. It's going to be the food. It's not going to be the game. At this point, it's me. So it's me, some co-workers of mine, and then one of my boys from the Marine Corps that's a Saints fan. So we're both going to go watch our teams I don't know. I'm pretty sure a high school football game will be more exciting, but one of us is going to end up with the first overall pick. And at this point, come that game, and I think it's in like December, come that game, I hope it's us. I hope we can at least be excited as a fan base to know that we're going to have the first overall pick. Whether or not we're going to make the right pick or this coaching staff can develop the right pick, that remains to be seen. But at least we'll have something to be excited about going to the offseason. Having the first overall pick, it just sounds exciting. Have we ever had it? I don't know if the Jets have ever had the first overall pick. I know we've had 2, we've had 3. Have we ever had the first overall pick? If we have, it wasn't in my lifetime. I don't remember in my lifetime us having a first overall pick. But yes, I'm with you, Rich. I think that's going to be the Tank Bowl. Whoever loses that game is going to have the first overall pick. I think the Jets and the Saints are bad, but I think the Jets are worse. I think the Saints are better than us. Like, they at least look competitive against the Bills this past weekend. Spencer Rattler feels pretty confident about himself. He looks like he's got some swagger to him. Chris Olave and Kamara are going to just do nasty things to us in that game. I believe that's going to be our story. Gosh, man, this is going to suck. Big Will says, people ask saying to get rid of this player, that player, replace them with who? Where are these players coming from? No, you're right. That's the thing, right? Like, we don't have good players. We haven't drafted that well over the last couple of years, so you don't really have even backup caliber players on this roster in places where you need backup caliber players. This rebuild is going to be a while. Bill, you're 100% right. Like, I was dumb. I was dumb to think that this team had like legitimate NFL talent on it. We got a couple of guys. A couple of Jags, just another guy, and then dudes that will probably wind up being insurance salesmen, over the next few years once they get cut by the Jets. This roster is depleted of talent. We don't have them. Yeah, no, you're right. It's not like you can go ahead and get these guys from, free agency, or if they're good, they're already on a team. And right now, injuries are happening all over the league. So, good point. Good point. But I still think at this point you cut guys like freaking Williams, or was it Williams? Whatever the freaking kick returner is. I don't even care. That bum, you still got to get rid of him, make an example out of it. Even if that means you find some other bum off the street that can at least catch the ball and not fumble it, at least he's doing better than this guy is. So I think you need to make an example of some individuals, man, if you're going to preach accountability. You can't let go of Gibson for the one mistake, and then this dude just had 2 mistakes in one game against a division rival that literally I think he impacted costing us that game and not take action. So there's that. Yeah, Bill, face to death. That's going to be painful tomorrow. We're on track for 5 to 7, Gunny. Vero, I think you're optimistic, brother. I do. I don't think there's a scenario in which this Jets team wins 7 games. I don't. Again, divine intervention. I'm a religious man. I believe I'm a Christian. I believe in God. That's the only way. If God himself feels pity upon us as a fan base, maybe the franchise, and decides, you know what, we've suffered enough, and God starts watching footballs on Sundays and happens to become a Jets fan. I think that's how the Jets get the 7 wins. Divine intervention, man. This team does not look like they belong on the same field as other NFL franchises. I watched football all week, like all Sunday, all Monday. I pay for Sunday tickets, so when my team is not on, I'm watching every other team. Red Zone, favorite channel. I just feel like every other team in the NFL knows how to play football because the fundamentals are present in every other team. But somehow for the Jets, fundamentals are a foreign term. They don't understand it, nor do they grasp the fundamentals. And you see it on Sundays and on Mondays over and over and over again. So, yeah, man, I think 7 win. I got to say 2 to 3. And I'm just saying that because you got to, statistically speaking, sneak into a win here or there. So I got to say 2 and 3. But I'm looking at the rest of the schedule, and I don't know where they're coming from. I think the Panthers and the Saints would be our best bet. But I felt the Dolphins should have been a win, even though I picked them to win the game because of home field advantage. The Dolphins should have been a win. Should have been a win. But we find ways, in the words of Breece Hall, man, like other teams shoot themselves in the foot. New York Jets, we shoot ourselves in the head. We love pulling that trigger, man, right to the freaking dome, boom. And that's what these guys do week in and week out. And I don't know if you can fix it. If you couldn't figure it out over an entire freaking training camp, how are you going to figure it out week to week when this is your norm? This is your norm. How are you going to figure out a way to go ahead and beat this out of them week to week? I'm just not a believer that is feasible, if I'm being honest. Glenn came in with the swagger. Only took 4 weeks for him to break and be like, I got to look at the tape. Yeah, he was a cocky motherfucker. He was, man. And again, you want confidence in your coach specifically, especially when you're looking at this dumpster fire of a team, and you want to hope that, okay, you're going to come in here and you're going to be able to change things around in a hurry. I think he was bringing with him some of that. He was trying to bring some of that Dan Campbell magic because Dan Campbell had a ferocious swagger about him, but his team showed that they mimicked that on the field. They didn't win all the time early on. They suffered quite a bit as a fan base, but that wasn't an easy win. Nobody looked at that Lions team and thought to themselves, "Oh yeah, we're going to go into this is going to be an easy game. This is a get right game." Nobody looked at that team. That team was violent, man. Violent. They didn't win very much, but you saw the makings of a team that's going to go to battle for their coach. We haven't seen that. 4 games in, Aaron Glenn hasn't shown us this as that he's a general. This team doesn't look like they're going to go ahead and follow him into war. I think that's the biggest difference. He's been humbled, though. He's been humbled. He's gotten a lot quieter lately. I'm not there yet, but I get it. I see a lot of individuals right now on social media, Jets fans. We are finicky. We're battered. We've been through this so much, man. Our patience has run thin, and we've seen the telltale signs of what bad looks like. So I'm already associating this with bad, and in my head, it doesn't get better because we haven't seen bad get better over the last several years in terms of different coaches that we've used. So I get that. I don't think the Jets fire him. I think they'll be here next year. We could go 0-17 this year. I believe the coaching staff will be here. They need to let go of Steve Wilks. I think Wilks is a terrorist. I think he's a plant. I think he's doing this on purpose because there's just no way, man, a defense can look that bad. You can't, as a veteran coach in this NFL, you can't scheme a defense to highlight the strengths of these players. Nah, bro. You miss me with that. Steve Wilks is doing this on purpose. I think he'll be fired by midseason at this current rate. He'll be fired by midseason. And we'll be looking for somebody else next year. But no, I think Aaron Glenn, Muji, they'll be here next year. I don't think Woody's going to let these guys go after the commitment he just made to them. And knowing that this is a team that's going to need some work. So for me, I think what it boils down to is we're going to have to worry about Glenn. But yeah, so I'm sorry. I don't think we're going to let go of Glenn. Yeah, Ahmad Gardner has definitely been very disappointing. Ice Spice dumped his ass. Now he's done. I didn't even know Ice dumped him. Did Ice Spice already dump Ahmad Gardner? Man, he was really excited about that little relationship, man. He was flaunting her all over the place. New name is Soft Gardner. I like that. Ahmad Soft Gardner. I'll do that. That's more realistic of the product he's put out there for us to go ahead and see. Shut up! So Soft Gardner. I'm a fan of that. I think we could do it. I will use that. Worst part is the Dolphins actually think they're good after this get right game for the Jets. That is the funny part. seeing Dolphins fans come out and start like, yeah, okay, boom, finally we figured it out. We did a whole bunch of things right, bruh. Relax. The Jets literally kicked. I mean, 3 turnovers, and you won by a score. Y'all, listen, y'all have a long ways to go, and y'all just lost Tyreek Hill. The season's over for the Dolphins. They just don't know it yet. The fan base starts to feel themselves a little bit. But yeah, I see that too, DeMar. They've been hitting me up on, well, not hitting me up, but like posting all over the place, mimicking freaking past Jets Jets tweets saying that, you know what I'm saying, this was going to be a game that we probably got our first win of the season on. All right, y'all got y'all win. Cool. Y'all beat bad teams. That's what the Dolphins do. You're not going to beat an average team. You're not going to beat a good team. You beat bad teams. The Jets are a very, very bad team. And you beat us by a score. A score, mind you, when we gave you 3 turnovers. I digress. And then Tyreek is gone too. So, yeah, the Dolphins fans are definitely feeling themselves. They are. So let them have their fun, man. Let them have their fun. Glenn's decision making has been suspect to say the least. My gosh. Man. All right. What's up, Kel? How you doing? Appreciate you. Been forgetting. I see more people have jumped on. DMar was good. My boy Tigo. What's good, job, man? The suffering, bro. It's just a bunch of suffering. Yeah, Gruden, man. If Gruden goes to the freaking Dolphins, all right. I think that'll be a bad day because we'll probably have the worst coach in the division. Infrared, what's good, brother? It's been a minute. Actually, not really. It's been since last week. So, no, I'm not firing Coach Glenn. He inherited a team with many, many holes in it. Let him complete his 5-year drafting the right pieces. Filling the holes. Cheers, Jets family. 5 years is a long time. It's a long time. I'm looking at some of the decisions they've already made, man. And Brandon Stevens, this bum they brought in to replace Gibson. Cisco. I'm not a fan of some of these moves, man, and they're all bad. They're all bad. So for me to say to give them 5 more years, listen, I'm willing to give Glenn the next 2 to 3. And I'm not saying we're winning Super Bowls in 3 years, but put us on the graphic by year 3. We need to be in the conversation going through the end of December. So to at least feel like, okay, let's see what year 4 looks like. But to just say give him 5 years, brother, that's asking a lot. Because we know what bad looks like, man. We do know what bad looks like. And it's looked very, very bad. It's looked very, very bad. And I hate to say it, man, because a lot of the Jets pessimists, or, you know, they're pumping their chest up because the Aaron Glenn experiment has not started off strong. So, you know, they're excited. The ones that hate the New York Jets, but they're also fans at the same time that are hoping that they're right by the Jets, by wishing evil or the worst case scenario for people that are on the Jets that they don't like. Man, I don't know. 5 years is a long time, brother. Yeah, Miguel, 100%. Booty cheeks. And they're about to get clapped like such on Sunday by the freaking Cowboys. This is about to be embarrassing. You can hire John Madden as coach, Jesus as OC, and St. Paul as DC until you break the curse. It doesn't matter who is coaching for this team. Listen, man, if Jesus is coaching this team, brother, I believe that we're going to go ahead and get right. That'll be how you break this curse. Like I said before, man, divine intervention. I don't know if this team is good. I don't know if this coaching staff is good. I know what I have seen thus far is that they are not. And I don't know if they can get right. God, man. Yeah, Miguel, that does hurt. We did get y'all brutal with it. We got beat by a team last night who has a head coach that looks like he sells real estate on Miami Beach during the day and snorts coke off a stripper's titty at night. That's accurate. That is what McDaniel looks like. And yes, they beat that ass. Man, wild wave. What do you expect him to say? We are currently in a rebuild. Be patient and wait another 2 to 3 years. Of course, he had to say that. Fair enough. I'm just sick and tired of hearing the same old thing. Just tell me it's going to take us 2 or 3 years. Then by telling me you had an answer for the deficiencies you saw on tape from last year. Oh, man. All right, guys. Yeah, Johnny boy, what's up, brother? So, yeah, 13 penalties over 100 yards is astronomical. 3 freaking turnovers, and they still beat us by 1 possession. The Miami Dolphins aren't good at football. They're not. They're not the team they once were. They started off so hot in the McDaniels era and have cooled off since then, and they've just gotten worse and worse and worse each year. They're not making the playoffs again this year. In fact, they're going to do what they do every year. They're going to win anywhere from 5 to 8 games to just be mid enough to where they don't get a impact-changing draft pick and they got to go ahead and pick somewhere in that 10 to 15 range. And the misery just keeps on going. That's why I'm like, if we're gonna suck like this, man, just get us the first overall pick. I know we're getting a top 3 pick this year. It's just a matter of time. But if we can get the first overall pick, that's a huge win. I mean, how many yards did Garrett? I think he had 80-something yards, and he would have had 110 with that TD that was called back by the offensive OPI, which everybody who's watched that back, even the NFL officiating, was like, that was an offensive OPI. So he would have had 120 yards and 2 touchdowns had that touchdown stuck last night. Not bad when you're the only receiving option and you're getting double covered and you're getting chipped at the line. Oh, I've been thrown down. Not bad at all. What point do we blame the players? I can't put the blame on the coaches. They are not fumbling the ball. Illegal shit is horrible. But the thing is this, though. They look unprepared, Johnny boy. Like, that's why they look. That's why they're fumbling the ball. They're having illegal shifts. That they're horrible at fair. They look uncoached, unprepared. Like, you're right. The players suck. Like, there's no denying that. But the things you're seeing are mental mistakes consistently that you would think during the week they're working on. They're trying to coach out of them. But it's since week 1, the same issues we had in week 1, we're seeing in week 4. So that's why I look at them and I'm like, nah, this is on them bums. This is on them bums because you're seeing a lot of mental mistakes. These guys have been playing football since they were kids. They know all of this stuff. They've been in these positions that got them to the NFL since they were like 10 years old. So the skill set is there. The knowledge is there. However, they're being prepared for these games is the odd denominator. And we've seen a lot of these mistakes last year as well under a bad coaching staff. And we're seeing a lot of them this year under a bad coaching staff. I think they all suck. Coaching, players, are all trash. Garrett Wilson to me is the only freaking stud we got. And Nick Folk. But you're seeing the same thing over and over again, man. Like, what are they practicing on every week? If we're seeing the same thing over and over again, what do they do what are they practicing tomorrow? The basket weaving? Yeah, are they practicing how to make a proper steak or something? Because they're not practicing football. If the same things keep happening over and over again each week, it's agitating, man. Like, it's just agitating, and it's not, this isn't at you, Johnny boy. Like, you're asking a good question. They should be held accountable too. I'm just saying, like, we're seeing a lot of the same issues over and over again. At some point, you got to ask yourself, if it's the same thing over and over again, what are they actually practicing on during the week? Help us. I want to understand what they're actually practicing. And it's I don't know, man. This team is it's demoralizing, man. Demoralizing. It really is. Infrared got jokes. 12-5 with one receiver. On July 23rd, you had us at 12-5. That was the year before. Not true. 12-5. All right, you guys are talking to each other. All right. Hey, Ron P was good, man. Nice to see you in here as well. I didn't miss any questions. I hate people have for the Jets, especially fans. Yeah, so my brother, my brothers and sisters live in Florida, and they're from Homestead, the Miami area. So, yeah, like, there's a disdain for the Jets in Florida. I was just in Florida this weekend. There's just people don't like us. They don't like us. We don't like them. We all don't like the Patriots, and we all now don't like the Bills. But, yeah, there's definitely some hate for the Jets. And there's some hate and animosity between both fan bases. Ah, man. All right, y'all. Well, this was your therapy session, guys. This was your therapy session for this week at the Hangar HangOut. I think I'm going to start doing, like, a quick post-game show after these games just to get a rant out, because I feel like more rants are coming than praise. Just get it out there, because I just need to get it off my chest so these hangouts can be about, you know what I'm saying, positive progress and what are we going to do, vice just these negative rants, these painful rants. Don't be surprised if we let go of Breece Hall and AVT at the trade deadline for extra draft. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all. And Fred. In fact, I'm actually kind of banking on. I think that you're going to see AVT can't, because he's hurt. You can't trade him while he's hurt. I don't believe, because he's on injured reserve. I actually think AVT comes back next year on a team-friendly deal. I do. I think they're going to actually find a way to keep AVT on a team-friendly deal. Maybe it's a one-year extension to go ahead. He's still a young guy to prove it. I think AVT's here next year. I don't know if Brees is. I think you look at Braylon Allen, and I think you see the talent. But, again, he's 20 years old, 21 years old, and he seems to make a lot of – he gets in his head, man. Again, if you watched him on the sideline after that fumble, you knew that he was gone. And so much so that AG had to go ahead and pull him aside to kind of like, hey, buddy, it's good. Kind of like, come on, buddy, it's going to be okay type of thing. I don't know if he's ready for the lead role aspect yet, but honestly, I don't know if Brees wants to be here next year. Like, if you heard his press conference, man, that's a guy who just feels like this is a hopeless case. Year in, year out, it's just we lose. And he's a running back. He knows he has a shortened career. Brees Hall is probably going to go ahead and could fetch us a third or a fourth the way he's playing right now. A back that can go ahead and catch us out of the backfield. He can block. He's I think third in the league since coming into the league in yards. All-purpose yards, catching the ball, running the ball. So not bad, right? So yeah, I can see us getting a fourth for him and him going somewhere where it's going to matter. Great cross check, brother. I appreciate you, man. I do what I can for red. Yeah, I mean, the run game did play well. I'm not gonna pretend like it didn't play well. Positive progress with the Giants. Boom. Then we rushed for like 200 yards and threw for like 220 yards, 226 or something like that in the touchdown. He had like a 117 passer rating or something like that. But that doesn't tell the whole story, Johnny boy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're running the ball that well, but you fumbled it twice in those runs, you got to take into consideration how those fumbles impacted the game. And both of them were bad fumbles, especially the one from freaking Braylon Allen, you know what I'm saying, at the 1 yard line. They happy. I said ESPN. For me, my happiness is. What's up, Rich? Appreciate you, brother. All right. I appreciate you all for jumping on this therapy session with me, man. No therapy for me. My happiness is not tied for the Jets winning. I support the Jets for the Jets. Win or lose, my foundation is with the word of God. Hey, amen, Kel. No, amen. Seriously. Yeah, at the end of the day, like, this team is not – I don't worship this team. I love this team. I've chosen to be a fan, you know, my whole life, and I will continue to be a fan my whole life. But, yeah, like, at the end of the day, like all glory is to God. And there's no argument to be made with that, Kel. I appreciate you putting some light on something as minor as a Jets loss. So, appreciate you. Tigo, if someone is offering a fourth for Brees, take that trade immediately. Just don't think anyone offers something. Yeah, 100%. I disagree. I think somebody will offer a fourth. You're seeing running backs getting banged up all over the league right now. I actually think the Kansas City Chiefs might be a real popular destination for freaking Brees as the season kind of goes on. They're having some struggles running the ball, and Brees is an immediate upgrade for anything that they've got back there. I could see a fourth happening. I really could. But yeah, whether it happens or not is one thing. But yeah, if you get a fourth for Brees Hall, this team is not a player away. We're several years away. We need those assets, right? He's on an expiring contract. I think at this point we just got to go ahead and let that man go. And great dude, right? And I think it'll probably be better for his soul as well. He'll do some wonders for our fantasy football teams on a team that actually cares and matters. So yeah, if that happens, man, that happens. But all right, y'all, that's the game. That's the night. I appreciate you all. Number love for you too. Appreciate you. Have a good night. And then I'll see you guys next week. Hopefully we're having, just a fun hangout. Vice trying to do another therapy session. As always, go Jets.
I can do it all, I will never fall. It's the Renaissance, you know that I got the mother sauce, man. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you ever lost? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance, man. I can do it all, I will never fall. It's the Renaissance, you know that I got the mother sauce, man. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you ever lost? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance, man.
Any players that's here now, put your seatbelts on and get ready for the ride. Put your seatbelts on and get ready for the ride. Listen, there are going to be some challenges, but with challenges gets opportunity. But here's what I do know. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
And here we